Welcome to Angry Appliance Repair Person. For the record, you're looking at them. This presentation is going to be about codes. Now, newer appliances these days have codes to help the service person figure out what's wrong with the appliance. Codes can be helpful because there's so many electronic boards in appliances these days. You don't know exactly which one to replace. So some manufacturers will refer to the code as an error code. Some manufacturers will refer to it as a fault code. Now, a fault code, what is so funny, smartest man in the house? I'm just getting over the codes. Oh, you're saying that when I say fault, I am sometimes talking about something that comes out of my backside. Oh, I see. Okay, I apologize. It's sometimes difficult for me to say those kind of words. I have to pronounce fault correctly. Sometimes I forget. That is my apologies. I will stick to the word error for this conversation, so we do not have to worry about a mistake in judgment on my part for talking about passing gas on a presentation. I do not want to do that. I will use the word error. So, thank you, smartest man in the house. So, error codes, obviously some of these codes will begin with the letter E to signify error, or the letter F to signify fault. I say it like that. Okay, sometimes I get a little lazy when I pronounce. So, error and fault can be any numbers, can be any kind of combination, but obviously the appliance will not be working. But I've had some that actually do work and still show that. It is telling the homeowner that something is wrong and it should be investigated. Now, some of the appliances have memories. Those memories will hold the code in the memory of the board. That way, when the code is erased, which I'll get to in a minute, the technician can recall that code. Well, not all appliances are that smart. Some of the smart appliances will remember that, but some of them are not so smart, and they will actually forget that when you reboot, which I'll get to in a second, you lose the code. So, when you see the code, take a picture with your phone, write it down, don't care. Make the phone call to your service company and tell them, hey, my refrigerator, it's still running, but I have an E7, but yet everything's still cold. What do I do? They can look up the code for that brand, and they can see what the code means and then decide on what to do next. Whether it is come out with a part or tell you to do something over the phone, you might help them figure it out. With how difficult it is to find service people these days, it helps everybody. It helps the customer, it helps the company if you can do the job in one visit. So, if we can bring the part with us to your house, we would be able to figure out what the problem is over the phone and have the part with us. That way, one trip, everybody's happy. Your appliance is fixed faster and the company doesn't have to come back. Everybody's happy. So, the first thing you do, take a picture or write down the code that you see. The second thing, always reboot. I can't tell you how many times I've gone out to a house. All I had to do was pull the plug for 2 minutes. Plug it back in, everything's fine. Everything's fixed, no problem. So, always reboot. If you reboot it, the code goes away and the appliance works, give it some time. You might have just fixed it. If it does return, especially if it returns almost instantly, that means it's what we call a terminal code. It is done, something needs to be repaired. Call your service company, tell them that what that is, and that way they can look it up and maybe bring a part with them. Makes everybody happier. So fault codes do serve a purpose. One other note, companies know that people are looking at fault codes on the appliances, going onto the internet, looking for do-it-yourselfers that say, hey, I know what E7 is. This is what you do to fix it. Don't call an appliance company. I can fix it for you. Get your tools, your screwdriver, your hammer, and we will fix it together. The companies know this, so they are actually hiding the codes sometimes in the memory, which means there will be little lights. There might be a light on the refrigerator display that's lit, telling you something's wrong, but there is no code. When that happens, the technician has to push a few buttons to be able to bring the code up so they know what it is. That is becoming more popular in appliances today. So I don't know, you almost have to, using Google is fine. Use Google, use Bing, use all those search engines. Try to find information if you want to. But remember, if you're not sure, it may not be the right information. So it can help you, but sometimes these companies know this and they don't want people getting into the appliance repairs unless they know what they're doing. So keep that in mind. If you are that kind of do-it-yourselfer, you could try. Find someone that will show you how to push a few buttons to look at the code yourself. Sure, I've even done it with some of the customers I know that I've been to their home many, many times at the house. I've actually know some people that I have told them over the phone how to access it because I trust that they'll do it correctly and they'll be able to tell me what's wrong with the code. Maybe I can bring a part. That's the good relationship you try to get with a service company. I don't care if it's a car, if it's a plumber, I don't care what it is, that you can trust on the phone to have a conversation to help try to figure out what's going on. Keep it in mind. Okay, for Senile Thought each week, this is a very common thing with service people when they get to be very old like me. You are very frustrated, sitting at your desk, doing bills, not being able to catch up with money. But yet you're getting too old. The knees are hurting, the back is hurting, and it's time. This Senile Thought each week, regretfully, is going to be focused for younger people. When you're younger and you're trying to get into the business, you've got to think ahead. I know lots and lots of people say this, and I'm going to say it too, because I am an example of this. Well, you plan early to be able to retire before your knees give out, your back gives out. You get one of these in front of you, and then it's very hard to do the work anymore. So retirement is definitely not an age thing in my mind. Retirement is a financial stability. You must have enough money in your mind and a plan. My plan is very simple. I can't really do the service anymore. I'm still in the business, but not like I used to be. And I can't do it because I've gotten fat in my elbows and my knees and my back. It's not practical for me anymore. But luckily, Mrs. Angry Appliance Repair Person and I have basically had a plan, very young, and we stuck to the plan. Now, in our golden years, we are able to calm down. We don't have to be as concerned about the money coming in because we did such a good job of planning for it. I have a plan. My plan is to work till I'm dead because I enjoy it. Whether I'm doing this, whether I work somewhere else, whether I help a person out for a few bucks here or there, I'm always planning on working. But I don't have to be as concerned that I don't have to have that money coming in. And that is the idea. The idea is not to be this person. The idea is to be able to retire when you're financially able to and stick to the plan. I have so many people that say, well, I had enough money when I was 55, but now I am 80 and I'm running odd. Well, the reason you're running odd is because you're spending it. You have to have a plan. Some people that make a lot of money for their careers, they can go on the cruises. They can go on long flights. They can have big vacations. That's fine. If you have the money, more power to you. But when you want to just plan for stability, you have to make sure that you think of it when you're young, plan for it. So when you get to be, especially in the service world, when you get to be a certain age and you just can't do that stuff anymore. So not everybody is as pretty as me to be able to do something like this on the camera. But I do plan on working and continually working, but not as much. So please keep that in mind. So yes, smartest man in the house, I want to finish up here. It's getting a little long. What do you want? Yes, smartest man in your house, you have a point. Since I have this, I could stop being an appliance serviceman and be a Santa. But being a Santa is only seasonal. I would need to find something off-season. Oh, you're saying, oh, that's very funny, smartest man in the house. Yes. If I would teach people how to be a Santa, I could do angry Santa seminars. I could do that, couldn't I, smartest man in the house? But yes, I figured it out what you mean by angry Santa seminar. So let the people judge that for themselves. But we want to keep this family friendly, smartest man in the house. And as always, we thank you for spending some of your day with us.